I'm sorry. Did my voice go all evil? It is coming with Russian accent.
The Simpsons is the longest-running animated show in the history of, well, ever. It's a foundational piece of American culture. But a show that big doesn't just get shown in America. And when you've got different cultures, you've got different standards you've got to meet. Here are 15 times The Simpsons changed their show in other countries.
Celebrate the independence of your nation by blowing up a small part of it.
All right.
Number 1. Chances are you've heard Bart's iconic "Eat My Shorts" line before.
Good morning, world. Eat my shorts.
We don't know if you've ever used it yourself, but trust us, it does not come off as intimidating as a 12-year-old me would have hoped. Well, the way the French translation of the show worked out, it wasn't too intimidating there either. In France, Bart says,
Va te faire shampouiner.
which translates to "go shampoo yourself." Not sure how that one makes any sense, but we guess you could say the same about the American version. By and large, shorts tend not to be edible.
Eat my shorts.
Okay.
Number 2. In Al Shamshun, the version of The Simpsons that aired in Arabic countries, a lot of changes were made. The first one was the first names of the characters. Homer, Marge, and Bart were some pretty American-sounding names, so they ended up being changed to Omar, Mona, and Badr, which is pretty close, all things considered. We wonder if Mona called Omar Omi.
Homie, take your shirt off again.
Number 3. Another change they made in Al Shamshun was taking out all references and all depictions of beer. If you've seen The Simpsons, and we're guessing you have since you're watching this video, you probably know that's a pretty big deal. Omar drinks beer a lot, but in Al Shamshun they changed it to soda. Pretty clever fix if you ask us. Not sure how they explained him getting drunk though.
I don't know you. My wife and your wife are friends. We met just 3 hours ago.
You stink!
Number 4. Another no-no they couldn't show overseas, Al Shamshun took out all depictions of their characters eating pork. Given that a majority of their audience practices Islam, that would be a pretty upsetting thing for them to see. So we think they made the right call here. Omar can just chow down on some chicken instead. Number 5. We know. We're 5 entries into this list, and 4 of them are Al Shamshun. It's not our fault that the show had to make a lot of changes for its Arabic adaptation. One last change, they took out all depictions of The Simpsons going to church. Kind of unsurprising, given that they already took out the pork. But instead of leaving those scenes on the cutting room floor, they changed the scenes to take place in a mosque instead of a church. Number 6. In the 5th episode of the 9th season of the show, known as The Cartridge Family, Homer buys a gun. Pretty touchy stuff, but then again, The Simpsons has never been known for shying from controversy. Marge gets pretty upset with Homer, but at the end of the episode, she decides to keep the gun herself. Or at least that's what happens in the American version. In the UK, they didn't view that as a very satisfying ending, so they just took out that scene entirely, editing it in a way to make it look like the gun was thrown out for good. Number 7. Okay, enough controversy for now. Back to famous catchphrases. A lot of times throughout the show, Homer strangles Bart. Not exactly our favorite parenting style, but hey, we don't judge. When he does so, he always says,
You little...
But in Italy, we're not sure if it's a translation issue or what, but Homer calls Bart a toad roach. Does anyone know what a toad roach is? Is it the head of a toad, body of a roach? Or the other way around? We're not sure which is worse, honestly. Number 8. Everyone knows Homer's iconic catchphrase, "Dough!" doesn't mean anything, just a simple sound. So it'd be hard to mess it up in translation, right? Well, somehow France found a way. When the actor who voices Homer initially recorded the line, he misread it and said, "Toe!" They caught the mistake eventually, but that's just what they stuck with. Number 9. Now here's a change they did not end up sticking with. When the German team was adapting The Simpsons for their audience, there was a typo. They accidentally named Homer Humor. And we get it, the guy is funny, but isn't that name a bit on the nose? A few episodes actually aired before they caught the error, and they ended up changing it back. Number 10. So obviously an adaptation of The Simpsons is gonna have some accent changes if they're recording it in another language. Imagine the characters speaking Japanese, for instance, with all American accents. It just doesn't work. But for the Italian dub, the team went above and beyond. Tons of the characters were given regional dialects, even when in the original they didn't have any. Reverend Lovejoy and Police Chief Wiggum, for instance, were both given Southern Italian accents to match the Italian stereotypes of those two professions. There's tons more to go over, but we've only got so much time here. Just know the Italian team went above and beyond when selecting their dialects.
Non vuoi voltarti a vedere la torre?
Number 11. In a lot of episodes, The Simpsons travel overseas. And if you're going to do an episode where your characters travel to another country, that country is probably going to want you to be a little respectful in your depiction of them. Well, The Simpsons aren't exactly known for being the most respectful show out there. There are probably a lot of reasons that the episode 30 Minutes Over Tokyo got pulled from the Japanese version of the show. But the part where Homer throws the Emperor of Japan into an open box of sumo wrestler thongs has got to be one of the main ones.
All hail Emperor Clovis Doris!
Number 12. The Simpsons is well known for their depictions of celebrities, and so when they depicted Bono on their show, the UK must have been overjoyed, right? Well, kinda. They had a few notes about his language, though. And by a few notes, we mean they cut out every single line where the character calls someone a wanker. Which was a lot.
Wankers.
Number 13. And we're back to the moral issues. In the Russian version of the show, they apparently were not too keen on depicting the use of alcohol and cigarettes, which again happens a lot. In the far shots, we guess the team was fine with having them there, but on any close-up shots where a character actually puts it in their mouth, it was edited. Alcohol was made to look like a milk carton, and cigarettes were made to look like hot dogs. We've never personally smoked a hot dog, but hey, maybe that's a Russian thing.
Deal! Now we toast with vodka.
Number 14. The Simpsons is a show that's not afraid to get a little dark sometimes, especially for the purposes of a joke. And this next entry is no exception. One of the characters, Mo, often makes jokes about, oh, how do the kids on TikTok say it? Unaliving himself? Well, the UK team was not too pleased about having that in there, so all instances of Mo referencing it were taken out in their version. Maybe the UK Mo is just a happier guy. Number 15. In the season 7 finale of the show, Homer illegally buys some fireworks at Quickie Mart. And in order to cover it up, he buys a bunch of other items as well. Alcohol, condoms, a magazine with some explicit material. In the Australian version of the show, they ended up cutting that entire scene. They just didn't think Homer buying all of that was appropriate. They kept the bag in the later scenes though, so Homer just has this random mystery bag for the rest of the episode. So there you have it. 15 times the American version of The Simpsons just wasn't gonna cut it overseas. Were there any that we missed? Let us know in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe to The Things Animated for all the animated content you love.
I am looking for a man named
Humor.